Alright, so you should be looking at number 1. Alright, so in number 1 we have 4 variables, so let's use our highlighter. We have a is equal to -3, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 5, and d is equal to -4. Alright, in the first problem we have a 2 times a plus 3 times b. Alright, oops, that's just supposed to be over the b. Let's try that again. Get a smaller one. There we go. Okay, so we replace or substitute, so we get 2 times -3 plus 3 times 2. Your problem should look exactly like this, okay? We have to do the multiplying first, so we do 2 times -3, which is -6, because a positive times a negative is a negative, plus 3 times 2 is a positive 6. Then we get -6 plus 6 is 0. Alright, at this point you should pause, check your work, and then start working on number 2. When you're done with number 2, press play. Okay, hopefully you paused and now you're looking at number 2. Number 2 says 3d over b. Alright, so for this one, we're going to substitute, so we get 3 times -4 all over 2. Alright, this is a grouping symbol here, this long line, so we have to do the top first. So 3 times -4 is -12 all over 2. -12 divided by 2 is -6. Check your work, pause, and do yours. Alright, number 3. We have 5 times a times c, the absolute value of 5ac, minus 2 times b. Alright, so we substitute in our numbers. We get the absolute value of 5 times -3 times 5 minus 2 times 2. We have to do these grouping symbols first, which is the absolute value sign. So you have to find out what's in the middle first, okay? So we're looking first at what's in this middle area. What's this right here? Whoops, that didn't really work. But that purple area, we gotta find that inside. Keep the absolute value signs. So 5 times -3 is -15 times 5. Keep everything else the same. That helps us as we go. -15 times 5 should be -75. Keep those absolute value signs. Minus 2 times 2. Now we have it down where there's only one thing in the absolute value sign. So what's the absolute value of -75? 75 minus 2 times 2. We do the multiplication first before subtraction, so we get 75 minus 4, which ends up being 71. Pause your video, start working on number 4. Alright, with number 4, we have, again, 4 different variables. We have w is 36, x is -1, y is 2, and z is -5. Alright, so with number 4, number 4 we have 3 times -1 squared, the quantity of -1 squared, minus 2 times -1 times 2 plus z, which is -5. Alright, Jerem Das says that we need to do the exponent first. So we get 3 times -1 times -1 is a positive 1, minus 2 times -1 times 2 plus -5. Now we need to do the multiplying, so 3 times 1 is 3, minus, we can do this multiplying at the same time, 2 times -1 is -2. I'm going to just do it 2 steps at a time. -2 times 2 plus -5. Do this multiplying still. 3 minus negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus negative 5. Now we have subtracting and adding. Subtracting and adding are left to right. And in fact, I'm going to change the subtracting sign to adding the opposite. So 3 plus 4 ends up being 7 plus negative 5. 7 plus negative 5 ends up being 2. Check your work. Pause the video. Start number 5. Alright, number 5. I'm going to clear some of this out of the way. Number 5, we have a couple of variables here. We have the square root of 36 minus 5 times z minus 2 times y. Alright, so we're going to replace. We have the absolute value of the square root of 36 minus 5 times negative 5 minus 2 times 2. Alright, inside these absolute value signs, these are like parentheses kind of. We want to do what's inside. So inside there's a root. We want to do that first. We get the absolute value of 6 minus 5 times negative 5 minus 2 times 2. Okay, now we want to do this multiplying sign. So we get the absolute value of 6 minus 5 times negative 5 is negative 25 minus 2 times 2. Inside the absolute value sign, they're subtracting. Now that we're actually subtracting, we're going to change that to adding the opposite. 6 plus 25 ends up being 31. The absolute value of that minus 2 times 2. Absolute value of 31 is just 31. So we do minus 2 times 2. They're subtracting and multiplying. We're going to want to do that multiplying first. We get 31 minus 4. Change that to adding the opposite. 31 plus negative 4 is going to end up being 27. Check your work. Make sure it looks exactly like this. All your steps should be laid out. And then try number 6. Alright, number 6. Going to erase some of this out. Should keep yours all on the same page or together. Okay, number 6, we have a couple variables here. We have a y and we have an x. So we're going to substitute first. So we get the square root of, and that square root sign goes over both the 2 and the y. So we want to make sure that's the y is underneath, and the y is 2, all over x, which is negative 1. Okay, first off, this long division sign is a grouping symbol, so we have to do the top first. Inside the radical, there's an operation, so we have to do that first. Alright, so the square root of 2 times 2 is 4, divided by negative 1. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 divided by negative 1 ends up being negative 2. Done. Check your work, then try number 7. Alright, number 7. We have a w, we have a y, and we have a z. Alright, so we're going to write this out, substitute those variables. We get 1/4 times 36 times 2 plus negative 5 to the second power. JRM-DOS tells us we want to start with exponents, so we're going to leave everything else the same. 1/4 times 36 times 2 plus negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Alright, then we're going to deal with this multiplying first. So what's one? We have to go left to right, so what's 1/4 of 36? Well, 36 divided by 4 is 9, so we get 9 times 2 plus 25. 9 times 2 is 18. So 18 plus 25, we get 43, question mark. I think so. Yep, 43. Alright, so check your work, and then you're going to do all of 8 through 13. Okay, so pause the video. At this point, you should do all 8 through 13 and then check. So number 8, 6 plus 2, the quantity of 6 plus 2 plus 8 equals 6 plus the quantity of 6 plus 2. You're making these two talk. Hello? That's the associative property of addition. Okay? 10 times 1 is 10. Illustrates the identity property. You get the same number. When you get the same number, that's the identity property. 3 plus 9 equals blank. Illustrates the commutative property. Okay, technically 3 plus 9 equals 12, but they want you to show a property. So the property is to vroom vroom, switch them around. Commutative property. 9 plus 3. Negative 16 plus blank equals negative 16. Illustrates the identity property of addition. When you have identity property of addition, that's 0. 6 times 1 over something equals 1 illustrates the blank property of multiplication. 1 over 6 illustrates the inverse property of multiplication. Okay. 8 times the quantity of x plus 7 illustrates the distributive property. So distributive property is 2. So you gotta do 8x plus 8 times 7. Could have also written 8x plus 56. Alright. Go ahead, check, pause, move on to the next problem. Melinda and Fatha were collecting money for a walkathon. Melinda collected $5 on Monday, $14 on Tuesday, and $20 on Thursday. Fatha collected $20 on Monday, $14 on Wednesday, and $5 on Thursday. Both girls raised the same amount of money. This illustrates what property? So Melinda has 5 plus 14 plus 20, and we're saying that Melinda is equal to what Fatha gathered, which was 14 plus 5 plus 20. What property is that allows us to switch the order? We switch the 14 and 5 around. Oh, just kidding. I screwed up. Sorry. Haha. We get, for Fatha, she got $20. Sorry. $20, $14, and $5. So you switched all of them around. What property allows us to switch them all around? Vroom vroom, that's the commutative property. You made them drive around. Alright, pause the video, do number 15, and then come back to watch it. Number 15, what is the perimeter of the figure shown below? So perimeter means we have to add all these up. So we have 3x plus 2, that's this side. I'm going to go around this way, so here's that side, we're going that way. X plus 13, that covers all of this. Now I'm going to go down this side, plus 3x plus 8 plus 2 plus x plus 5. I'm going to use the commutative property and put all these x's by each other. So 3x plus x plus 3x plus x plus 2 plus 13 plus 8 plus 2 plus 5. Okay, now we're going to use the associative property, that was the commutative property of addition. Now we're going to use the associative property of addition to say we're going to do these x's together. We're going to group these x's together, and we are going to group all these other numbers without variables together. So 3x plus x is 4x, plus 3x is 7x, plus another x is 8x, plus 2 plus 13 is 15, plus 8 is 23, plus 2 is 25, plus 5 is 30. So our final answer is 8x plus 30 units, because we're measuring length. So it has to have some measurement. Congratulations, you're done. Put your name on it, turn it in. Bye.